What is up, guys? This is Doing Thing Guy here. Today we'll be playing SnowRunner on a 3060 Ti, 16 gigabytes of T-Force 3200 megahertz RAM, an ID cooler on a Ryzen 5 5600X B450 motherboard, and I'll put all my specs in the description. We're running at ultra. Shadow quality is going to be on high because with the new update, apparently putting it on ultra, it's just not very well optimized. Everything else is on max. We are running this field of view. We are running on Fidelity FX, Motion Blur, FXAA, maximum anti-aliasing, VSync, and we're running in 1080p. And here's our NVIDIA overlay. And if you guys want a bigger overlay, you know, I don't mind giving you the advanced one since this is a FPS test. There you go. We are pulling about 215 watts, and that is because, as you can see, we have give it a little more extra power, and it isn't using automatic tuning right now. And I did let it get up to 83 Celsius, which is fine. As you can see right now, on I guess a somewhat demanding area, we are not dropping below 60 frames, and our utilization is maxed out right now. Fans are kind of spinning, to be honest, and our temperature is definitely acceptable. Now, I've seen it get to 120 FPS sometimes. It really just depends on the area you're in. But yeah, this GPU is working really hard right now. To keep that FPS running. It's because it just rained, so all the reflections are extra reflective right now. And remember, guys, this is on like max anti-aliasing and stuff. So if you want it to look the best it possibly can, this is the kind of FPS you're gonna get on max settings. Now, most of the time with VSync on and everything, you're not gonna drop below 60. So it's not really a problem. We're also streaming in 1080p, 60 FPS. So, you know, we'll normally get a little bit higher FPSs sometimes. But, you know, this is a good representation of a scenario like this. And I was just playing on controller, but, you know. So, yeah, as you can see, GPU is definitely heating up quite a bit because this is a very, I mean, running at 1080p 60 filming and also playing the game is going to drop our FPS quite a bit. But as you can see, it's still quite the playable FPS. And I only dropped our shadow quality to high because, first of all, you don't really notice a difference. Second of all, it just has some, it doesn't run well on any PC. It has an issue. As you can see, our temperature is good. We're pulling 215 watts because then again, we let it have 100%, 10% of the power. The fans are absolutely spinning, but we shouldn't be thermal throttling or anything. But I mean, this FPS is very fine for SnowRunner, especially at the rate we're filming right now. And if you guys are curious, you know, since this is a testing video, let's turn those shadows to ultra. There we go, ultra. As you can see, the FPS most definitely dropped. Still playable, and for most people it's probably fine, but for someone like me it's not quite enough. Now, some people do turn off this sharpening filter, and they do maybe turn down their anti-aliasing to TAA, and that will, of course, help your FPS a good amount. Like, look at that. Just turning off that anti-aliasing to TAA indeed has helped their FPS, but I mean, look how our game looks now. I mean, it doesn't look nearly as sharp. So having that on 4x or even more definitely is nice. So yeah, these are all my settings that I usually run at. And if you have a powerful 3060, then I think these are settings that are completely acceptable to run. And even with these settings, I mean, the FPS is not unbearable. And look how sharp it looks like. This is good. Our GPU is running healthily at 80 degrees Celsius, and it is healthy. We know that because it is pulling all the watts it's capable of pulling, which is something you actually want on a GPU. You want it to be pulling all the watts that it is capable of pulling. That's how you know it's running well. I mean, and this is, since I only have a 60 hertz monitor, if I did run it with VSync on, it would look very smooth at this FPS. But it's really just the TAA and sharpening things that are really gonna mess you up here. So here's our sideboard trailer. We're just gonna be trying to attach this and carry some logs nearby. I haven't driven a trailer truck in a while, and this one does not really have the right kind of tires for this area. Then again, guys, do remember we are filming at 1080p 60 FPS, which is obviously also lowering our FPS. But as you can see, guys, this game is fully playable. Dang it, I have the wrong saddle. Well, that's actually kind of annoying, I'll be honest. I don't think I have another trailer nearby that is gonna do the job as well. I don't know what this trailer can take. We're gonna customize it, and yeah, as you can see in this kind of menu, our FPS obviously goes really high. So we need to settle low. There we go. There we go. Now we gotta drive all the way back. And as you can see, guys, just like I said, if you're in a more basic area, your FPS is gonna get really high. And our GPU is not even working that hard, meaning that our only limitation in this kind of area is mainly just like RAM and other little parts of the PC. Probably RAM is what I'm assuming. That's why our GPU is not getting the max over here. And I do have cheap RAM. It's T-Force. It's supposedly, according to the stats, is good, but I don't think the actual quality of the RAM is that amazing. But if I were to expend like $100 on 16 gigabytes of RAM, you know, it'd be great. But as you can see, when you get to these kind of areas, this is where the GPU actually really comes into usage, and your FPS starts to drop. And normally around here I get 80 to 90 FPS, but then again we are streaming, which incredibly does lower FPS, but our temperature's fine, so we're all chilling. And as you can see, if we turn on VSync, it's gonna sync to 60, but at least for me it looks a lot smoother. And watch the GPU temperature just drop, because it's not having to work nearly as hard as it was a little bit ago. Another thing with SnowRunner, I do like playing on controller because it's more chill, but I will say playing on keyboard and mouse is a lot faster. You can get various things done a lot faster on keyboard and mouse than SnowRunner. Oh, we cleared it. So yeah, this is on, you know, this is with VSync on. And as you can see with VSync on, the FPS, the main FPS counter doesn't drop below 60. So if you're running at 60 hertz, or you set your monitor to be 60 hertz, I mean, it's gonna look smooth pretty much all the time. This game with max sharpening does look amazing. So, you know, if that's something you want to get into, if you want to have your game looking this crispy, this GPU for 1080p, for this game and pretty much any other game, you should be able to run max graphics and get solid 60 FPS. And the only thing that could be limiting my PC from having more FPS is my RAM, as I do have cheap RAM. It's definitely enough to get the PC going and run all your games, but if you want to maximize performance, I recommend you buy one of those more expensive RAMs that run faster, because even 32 gigabytes, if I were to get it, of this RAM would probably not be as good as having like 16 gigabytes of true high quality like Vengeance Corsair RAM, you know. But this RAM was only $50, and for $50 it's a lot better than the RAM I used to have, which was only running at 2600. So yeah, I mean, this RAM isn't terrible. It definitely gave me a performance boost over 2600. I don't necessarily regret buying the RAM, but I kind of regret not spending more money on it. Because, of course, I went for the cheaper option because I didn't really realize how much. Like, I knew how much it mattered, but I didn't realize how much the price of the RAM could really make a difference in the reliability and performance of it. I thought, you know, if it runs at a certain speed, has all the right stats, then it's fine, right? Well, according to my recent research, that's not really the case. So if you guys are buying RAM, I highly recommend you buy the highest quality RAM first. And if you can, get more than... Oh, shnikes, look at our FPS. It just completely dropped. It's dropping right now. Reason being, I'm not exactly sure. We're going to continue the rest of this video without VSync on. As you can see, my FPS, there is still moments where it's gonna drop. And the only reason it did drop is really just because I am video recording. Normally, it has never gone below 60 with these settings. But see, right now we're running pretty much 90 FPS, and it's running fine, so. Yeah, after the new SnowRunner update recently, there has been some FPS drops people have recorded, so. But the game is still playable with a 3060 Ti. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next one, and that was my benchmark. Bye.